Hi, and thank you for joining me for an episode of Circle Back Vintage. Today, I wanted to talk about a postcard collection, and I wanted to walk you through all of the different pages of the postcards. It is a really beautiful piece and a beautiful collection. It is a piece that I found recently over the holidays. My husband and I were going to the Charles Morse Museum of American Art, and right next door to that museum, there is a cute little antique store that is owned by a lovely gentleman in Winter Park, Florida. And he actually sold this piece to me. I think he was super excited that I was interested in antiques. Somebody of my age who's making assumptions about my age. And he was just very, very sweet and excited. So I was super happy to have this piece and that he was willing to part with it. It is a postcard collection. And I was super excited because it has such exquisite printing on some of these offset lithographs all around. Most of the ones that are marked are around 1907 to 1913. So it really fits right within that golden era of postcards and ephemera within the United States. So these are going to be antiques at the time of this filming, which is also really excited to have such a beautiful collection. The woman that owned it was from Spokane, Ohio. Her name was Edna. She had a lot of friends that were also really interested in sending postcards to her. So I'd love to see the ones that she sent, but I'll have to make do with the ones that she received. Something that I didn't realize, I was doing a lot of research on this. There's still a lot more research to do, but I think that that's the fun part when you have such a large collection and all the different types of printing, the stamps that are in the collection, all of the different buildings and monuments and some of these images that you don't see anymore. It was so interesting that if you spend a lot of time researching something, all the different things that you can find out about it. Some of the research that I did in this collection, most of these are from 1908 to 1913. So they do extend a little bit past that period of time where these were highly collectible. Something that I didn't realize until I was doing some research is how popular postcard collection was during that era within women, especially in rural towns in the northern United States. Edna, being from Spokane, Ohio, fits right in with that demographic, definitely a rural area at the time in 1913. Just really interesting to read some of the descriptions that she has on this. And something else I didn't realize was how these were like old time text messages. So instead of sending your friend a message saying, hey, I'm going to meet you at a restaurant at 1:30 on Tuesday, they would send this through the post office. It's just interesting to think there was one in particular that says, hey, I'll swing by and pick you up at 6 p.m. on Sunday. You know, if they didn't get it in time or if the courier or somebody would just show up at your house to pick you up without you knowing that they were actually going to be arrival. So you really had to trust the post office in order to deliver your messages. And I think it's just a lovely little time capsule to see how people used to communicate and the words that they used. And even the humor is very different to the humor that we have today. I'll show you some of the jokes that they have on the front of the cards. Some of them I honestly just don't quite get the sense of humor, and maybe that's just me. Most of the golden era ephemera was from 1907 to 1910. There are some political reasons as to why there was such a surge in postcard collection during that time. And a lot of it was because the government changed the laws for postcards where they could have a beautiful image printed on the front, and then on the back, they would have a divided back is what they're called. Most of the ones in this collection are divided backs, where you'd have the address on the right, and then you'd be able to put your message on the left. In the past, they would have the address on one side and then the message on the other side. The way that they changed the laws made it so that they could have these beautiful images, and it really became popular in order to send these messages to your friend during that time. I could probably spend an entire year trying to figure out all of the different bits of information and gathering all the different details. I could look and try to figure out if a lot of these monuments are still intact. I know that a lot of collectors like postcards because it shows them what an area looked like, especially if somebody's purchasing it that's local to that region. I know that I would feel that way about my hometown if I found an old postcard out in the wild. I'd be super excited to have it. But these pieces, there's beautiful printing on the front. Every bit of this postcard and this collection is interesting to me. The front is beautifully printed, so my passion for printed paper it really fits and aligns nicely with that. And then the back, there's just the detail and the notes and the history and trying to figure out and understand the life that this person has lived and the friendships and the bonds that they have made. And just something as simple as, the stamp. I'm not a stamp collector, but it's always exciting to think, well, what if there's a possibility of something that is incredibly rare in this book, or something that wasn't known to us, or there's a piece of information that somebody's been trying to find out, and perhaps this video can give them that information. This is a beautifully bound postcard, and it is in kind of a rough condition, pretty good for over 100 years. It definitely is very brittle, so I'm having to be really cautious whenever I flip these pages. A lot of these I haven't removed from the casing and I haven't looked through them, just because I don't want to damage the piece, and I'm kind of going back and forth on how I should handle this. I'm gonna go with the typical conservation method, where less is more in this case. I'm going to assume that this postcard collection has been in this particular binder for a very long time. They don't have the same type of archival acid-free papers that we use today. There's been a lot of fading. You can see these pieces are a little bit dirty, but there's definitely some markings on them from being in this collection for so long and being within the book for so long. So I'm just gonna kind of get to it. So again, this is Miss Edna Clemens in Spokane, Ohio, on Route 1. What an address. Wonder if we could still find that today. And again, something that I haven't quite researched yet, but it'll be interesting to see. So it says, "My dear friend, I wish you many more happy birthdays. Your loving friend, Ruthie M. Garden, Warren, Ohio." One of those things, you make up those stories in your head, and I wonder if maybe, she has Miss Edna, or maybe one of her friends has family around still. It'd be so cool to hear that if you could ever bring these two things back together, bring this person's collection to see what your friends and what your ancestors wrote to one another. The creativity and the humor and the printing style, it's just absolutely beautiful. I mean, just all on this one page. "Smile when you fail and you'll die laughing at your success. Gee, I hate to wait." This beautiful printing. This is a advertising piece. "Elsie, why this monstrous bag? Don't you think it rather swanky when you know that it contains hairpins, powder, puff, and hanky?" This is Elsa at Toronto. But this piece, I can't open it too far because it is still connected, but it has all of these images of sites in, looks like Parliament. We've got aquatic sports at an island lagoon, just all these interesting little things inside of it. Nobody felt that they needed to write on this one, but I think it was more just to send it. And this was the Canadian National Exhibition in Toronto. We got a beautiful Christmas card, birthday. Looks like a lot of this was hand embellished after it was printed. And this one, a lot of these, this era had really cute depictions of children together, especially for Valentine's Day. That was really popular. It says, "Oh, I'll get her." And it looks like somebody wrote on this one, but it has since faded away. This one's from 1912. And I believe that these are the more popular stamps from that period of time. All of these 1 cent with George Washington and Ben Franklin. I know some of the red ones are a little bit more valuable, but I've only seen the green ones in this book so far. We've got a Thanksgiving greeting and a Happy Easter. And this one's really raised, and this one has linen on the top of it. Let me see if I can make this one out. It says, "Hello, kid. How are you? I am all okay and hope you are the same. Well, if nothing happens, I will be up Sunday night at 7 if it isn't raining. As ever, your friend." Maybe from Gary? Looks like Edna had a date in 1913, and she was still Miss at that period of time. So who knows? Maybe that's her guy. Chalker High School in Southington. I wonder if that building is still there. Maybe I'll do a Google image search and see. And some of these are impressed and some of these are raised embossment. This one is a raised embossed piece, but just the colors are so vibrant. And I think this one is my favorite card in the entire collection. Do a close-up of it. This again is a raised piece. It says, "To my Valentine, queen of my heart." It says, "From your old friend and schoolmate, Mildred Miller." Mildred had good taste. So tempted to remove them. Maybe I can get this one out safely. Maybe you can see me break the book. Okay. It says, "You're the one I'm always thinking of." And this one is from Oh, I can't make out the year on this one. Dear friend, read your card the other day, was more than pleased to get it. Would have answered sooner, but this is my first chance. I had a fine time at a party last night. Now don't forget, we'll be looking for you. One of those pictures before that, did you mask last night? Don't forget the picture. I am your friend, Lee. Well, it was important enough to spend 1 cent on that message. Oh, I'm trying to meet you. The Ben Franklin stamp. In this one, we have some monument images. So here we've got someplace in Warren, Ohio, Delaware Park in Buffalo, New York, Lincoln Park in Chicago, Monumental Park, Monroe Street in Warren, Ohio, Mausoleum, Oakwood Cemetery in Warren, Ohio. And this was the public library that is crossed off and printed. It looks like it turned into a post office. And then East Market Street School. So pretty sure this place is probably still here. So this is on the rocks in Rock Springs. We can see a group of people having a lot of fun that day. Got another one here. All of these are from Warren, Ohio on this page. This one says, 2 pair of souls with but a single thought. We've got some Christmas cards, best wishes, happy Easter, birthday greeting, Merry Christmas. This is Sheepshead Bay in Brooklyn, New York. We lost the stamp on this one. Handwriting is really hard to decipher. Maybe they did that on purpose so you wouldn't have a nosy postman reading your messages. Oh, right. And this is another one of those ones that I really love. It's a Christmas one. It's relatively popular. I've seen a couple online, but just a beautifully printed piece. And we've also have this unique little thing. It says, your birthday comes but once a year with its mirth and laughter. May its pleasures still remain with you ever after. Those simple are the wishes that I send. They are the heartfelt greetings of a friend. With warmest birthday greetings to Edna from Harley. This one wasn't even circulated. It must have just been one that they gave to their friend, to Edna. And here we've got some more Cleveland, Ohio pieces. Okay, it says, the water is fine, bathing in Conneaut Lake in Pennsylvania. Probably did not say that correctly. Swimming is fine here today. Don't you wish you were here? Yeah, and this one is worn off also. It was in August at some point. I don't know what year. And this one just definitely made me laugh. It says, I have a bone to pick with you. And then she has a bone in her hand. Definitely don't send cards at Thanksgiving anymore, but there are quite a few during that period of time. Poor guy. He says, I'm all in looking for that letter. So I'm just speculating here, but I wonder if some of these ones that aren't printed as nicely, if that was when they were having a hard time getting some of those dyes out of Germany. They're not as vibrant. The colors are more muted. Let's see if it's after 1910, and maybe my theory will ring true. Oh, 1911, maybe. I think this person had a very hard time writing on these embossed cards. I didn't really think about that being an issue. They're beautiful, but not so good for writing messages on. You may pack your duds in my trunk. Says Edna, friend, do your pillow and pack in the trunk from Bud. It's another beautifully printed one. This one almost looks like a stone lithograph with the fine printing on it. It says, will you be my Valentine? I'm going to guess it's a little bit older. Still divided plate back. And you can see that somebody has written on it, but you can't make it out any longer. It's only because of the raking light that I can kind of see the raised edges where somebody had pressed for the pencil. Maybe they erased it. Maybe it was too romantic. And we've got a calendar for 1911. Card from Jerusalem. It's different for this collection. Dear friends, we got here without any accidents and had a fine time. We didn't stop at Brookfield for church as we intended. It looks very much like rain this morning. Be sure, and I don't think that's what it actually says. Maybe you can read it better than I can. We've got a little womanizer in here. On which of you, dear little misses, shall I bestow my loving kisses? These are all Warren, Ohio, Liverpool. There's the Pittsburgh Hotel for a drink with the best whiskey in the city. This is Newton Falls, Cleveland, Ohio, Sandusky, Ohio, Cortland. Some best wishes. It says those foolish questions. Mailing a letter there? No, handsome. I'm taking out an insurance policy for a pet tapeworm. It's 1910. It's like a New Year's Happy New Year card. This person was smart enough to not try to write on the embossed portion of the back. Good girl, Violet. Ooh, this one's quite racy. It says, I dare you. Hello, Edna. I just read your card over again to find your address. It is plenty cool enough now. Nearly froze to death the last 5 days. I don't suppose you noticed it down there so much. Say, don't be shocked at the picture on the other side was the best I could find. Right, Anna Everett. Well, at least Anna knew that it was a little racy for the time, too. The best I could find. All right, we got some birthday, Christmas, Easter, a good luck card. I'd love to pull out this good luck card to see what good fortune somebody was wishing Edna. We got a Happy New Year. One says, I love you, you love me, you say. No doubting thought shall whisper nay, for I see sweetheart in the evening light, a ring of truth in your eyes so bright. This one says, good enough to eat, and the woman is biting this man's face. He seems to be enjoying it. Some Ohio, some Thanksgiving, Valentine's Day. This one's different too. This one is Ashtabula Harbor, 1905 by the photograph. And this one is not the divided back, so you can tell that this one's a little bit earlier. So this one's 1906. 1907 is when they started doing the divided back, so this one's a little bit older than the rest of the pieces in here. Says, I should worry about smokeless powder and get pale in the face. This one's from June 1914, it looks like. I'll try to read it. We'll see if it makes the cut. I missed you very much at night. I am not... Oh, this is bad handwriting. Something about the decorating committee. We'll decorate Saturday noon. Something about a champions. Yep, nope, can't read it out. I'm sure Edna got the message, though. If nothing else, I'm sure she enjoyed receiving a postcard from her friend. So this is the first patriotic one that I've seen in here. I'll be interested to see what year this is, because even though it is patriotic, it seems like they started doing patriotic ones after 1913 because of the war. That was something they started to do to keep the postcard population alive. So it says, let the stars and stripes be waving over their generous sacrifice. So let's see what year, if we can figure it out. 1909, I was wrong. Just a patriotic one to have, I guess. Dear Edna, your card at hand are trying to get settled in at home, like it real well. Come and see me, from Alice. When I look at the picture that I took of you, my heart takes a chump yet. Got this beauty. It says, hello, how you is? Am fine and dandy. Did you get home Sun night? It made me think of the 4th. Expect you thought I was never going to write. I thought children's exercises were fine, didn't you? Is it hot enough for you? I am almost roasted. I could not think of any news. Excuse poor writing. From Faye, and soon your friend Faye. Oh, these have fallen out of the back. This piece also came with a bonus advertisement from the Indy Atlantic by the Sea. They were trying to convince people to move to Florida. So it says, a winter playground on the South Atlantic seaboard on the Florida East Coast Railway and Dixie Highway at the Atlantic terminus of the Cross State Highway from Tampa. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you liked looking through this postcard collection as much as I enjoyed showing it to you. It was really a fun one to film for me. Just love how the colors are so vibrant, and I think that it is just a beautiful time capsule and a period of history that sometimes goes unnoticed, and things that we don't remember, and the impact that they can have on your life, and how something like this brought us to where we are today. Thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye-bye.